This KFAN podcast is sponsored by Builders and Remodelers, exclusive Twin Cities provider of Elements Windows. Get the highest quality windows at unmatchable value. Visit buildersandremodelers.com for more details.
Looking for excitement? Chumba Casino is here. Play anytime, play anywhere. Play on the train, play at the store, play at home, play when you're bored. Play today for your chance to win and get daily bonuses when you log in. So what are you waiting for? Don't delay. Chumba Casino is free to play.
Experience social gameplay like never before. Go to Chumba Casino right now to play hundreds of games, including online slots, bingo, Slingo, and more. Live the Chumba life at ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Get your mother-loving ears on because your big-time radio DJ's got news. PayPal lets you choose how you want to pay for all the stuff. With PayPal, I can pay in-store, pay online, or pay over time. What's that? You want this translated into song? I hope you're sitting down. You can pay your own way. You keep those ears on, you hear? Don't just pay, baby. PayPal.
Learn more at paypal.com.
You know, some people say that Odoo business management software is like fertilizer, the way it promotes growth and all. But other people say Odoo is like a magic beanstalk because it grows with your company and is also magically affordable. And there's some people who would even say Odoo's individual software programs come together to build the perfect suite like building blocks. Well, Odoo is all of these things. Fertilizer, magic beanstalk, building blocks for business. So sign up now at odoo.com. ODOO.com.
Well, we've been
To the 69th annual Power Trip NFL Mock Draft.
Well, we've been streaming all day long. We will be streaming all day long as well. But this is the Power Hour. KFAN.com/watch is where you can find it. Thanks to Quantum Fiber, your world unleashed. And as we wait for everybody to come back into the studio, I want to remind you to join the Power Trip Morning Show up at Grandview Lodge, May 1st and 2nd. Don't miss out on your chances to win great prizes, including a custom KFAN and Grandview co-branded golf bag, a tailor-made driver, and rounds of golf. Oh, and did we mention a trip to Tanca Verde Ranch in Arizona?
You're welcome.
Get all the details now at KFAN.com/Grandview.
How cool is that?
Yeah, that's next week.
Yeah, and listen, people are out of the studio because there's so many trades. You know, I mean, people calling about trades, but we don't do trades with the Power Trip Mock Draft, but they're still taking calls, you know?
No, we take this seriously.
You always take calls. Am I right, Church? No matter who calls.
Oh, yeah, we take the call, but, you know, their asking prices to move are very, very high.
Look at him.
Exactly.
And he's cussing somebody. He's cussing his own GM in Tennessee.
His landlord, probably.
It's the other way around, I think.
Believe it.
The first 8 have gone like this. The Titans, Cam Ward. Browns, Travis Hunter. Giants, Abdul Carter. Patriots, Will Campbell. Jags, Ashton Genty. Raiders, Armand Membu. The Jets took Mason Graham. And then in our mock draft, the Panthers took Jalen Walker. Those are the top 8. And according to DraftKings, those are the favorites to go 1 through 8.
You look tan.
Thank you. It just looks like that against the brick wall. Look photoshopped. So we'll see. We'll see if we stay in line with DraftKings in Vegas. Nordo is pick 9. Now, again, Nordo, I teased this. You know, like when mock drafts first started getting thrown out there, a lot of people thought this was the spot for Shedeur Sanders or whoever doesn't go in the top 2 or 3. This is quarterback. They need a quarterback. Now, almost no one thinks they're going quarterback at 9. What do you think the Saints are doing at pick 9?
Well, when we first sent out the email, I was thinking to myself, oh, this is easy. I'm just going to throw Shedeur here and it's over. But I will say, after reading more into it, that I'm kind of falling in line with what you've been seeing in more recent times. From the standpoint that so Carr's got the shoulder situation, but in the same sense, if you were to cut him, it's about $80 million in dead cap this year. If you got him loose before next season, it's still $50 to $60 million in dead cap. I just saw an article that Loomis, I think the GM, said they're going to find some clarity on that situation, whatever that means. And I'm not saying Spencer Rattler's a guy you roll with, so it's certainly an issue. But I look at this team, so from a financial standpoint, they've been in cap hell for a decade, it feels like, going back to the deferred Drew Brees money. So I think, they are less likely to just fall on the grenade with Derek Carr financially, maybe, than if it was a little different situation. So
it's like $1 an hour.
With that said, Cam Jordan's like 60, and he's still making plays. It's unbelievable. But Carl Granderson on the other side, defensively, I think this is where they go. Top 20 in scoring defense, but everybody was gaining a ton of yards, 30th in the NFL a year ago. I think that it's a future plan and a now plan. Mykel Williams, the edge rusher from Georgia, is going to go number 9 to the Saints.
Okay. Is, again, the DraftKings favorite as well at plus 250, but he's the favorite to go number 9. Charge.
All that analysis for the obvious pick.
Yeah, still,
that's what we do.
All good.
The Shamar topic starts really at pick number 9 for the Saints. They could very well trade down 10 picks and still get Shadur Sanders. So I think the thinking here is, if they do hold, it will be defense, or they trade down and find Sanders later. The only other team they're battling for Sanders with is ultimately Pittsburgh. Mykel Williams, very, very highly regarded. Raw, but definitely has round 1 traits, long limbs, flexible. He's a closer, big motor, but he's somebody that is believed is going to be more of a project, somebody that might not be a week 1 starter, or maybe just a rotational player. But nevertheless, just the attributes are there to make him worthy of a round 1 selection for Mykel Williams.
There you go.
All right, pick 10 in the division, the Chicago Bears and Greg Swedberg.
You know how they say we're going to run to the podium? Nobody really does that. No one runs to the podium. But the Bears are happy with the way that this has fallen to this point because they're going to get a guy they wanted. I think they really would love to get Genty. I think that Ben Johnson would just love to have that weapon in his quiver of arrows or whatever. I'm sorry, I don't do analogies that well.
That works for me.
Okay, but I think at this point that he played a lot of 12 in Detroit. I think that at this point they're going to take the best guy available, and that'll be the tight end from Penn State, Tyler Warren.
Tyler Warren is a fascinating prospect, almost universally believed to be the top tight end in this draft. He's from Penn State. The comp is Jeremy Shockey, for those old enough to remember him. He is nasty, violent, very polished receiver, flies up the seam, very fluid in his route running, and very aggressive after the catch, and he can block. And the Bears laboring under one of the worst contracts in the NFL, the $50 million they gave Cole Kmet for 2 catches a game.
Wow.
So absolutely, I think this is as early as Tyler Warren would go, but warranted for the Bears.
And Ben, this guy's not only tall, he's a big dude, man. This guy will lay the hammer on somebody.
Oh, yeah, he's a big dude. And
that's a huge bitch.
He is.
And I do love his all-around game. That's the thing. Like, these tight ends these days are, and it's no fault of their own. I mean, these guys are getting paid like wide receivers. They're treated like wide receivers. And so that's kind of breeding this new breed of, kind of flex tight end. And we certainly have one now, but this guy does not mind getting grimy. He can be gritty. He can run block. He can do all those things. Charge, you're saying this might be a little high for him. I actually think that if he's there with Carolina, that's not a bad spot for him to go as well. Just 2 picks before that. I think they have Tommy Tremble or something.
Yep, that's right.
So it's like, they could use an upgrade as at tight end as well. And he could be that guy that's going to play all 3 downs the whole game.
Paul, I haven't ripped you in 45 minutes, so I'm on the brink of getting fired. It's in my contract that I have to criticize something you do every hour or I get dismissed.
Yeah.
Stylistically, there's really 2 ways to write the word Niners or 49ers. Either the number 49 and then ERS.
Same thing.
49ers. Or if you're going to say Niners, you go NINERS. Sauce, you somehow threaded the needle and found the number 9 and then ERS. The Niners are on the clock.
Hi, meat.
Hey, babe.
Niners.
Well, let's see here. Yep. Well, and I gave the pick to myself because it was the least amount of letters I could type, and it was easy work for me.
You still added a number.
Yeah, well.
Niners. Go ahead. Niners, number 11.
I think the Niners need everything. The Niners had mass exodus in all their positions. They have the most overrated quarterback in the NFL. He's terrible. They were 6-11 with him. They were bad. He's not good unless he plays on an all-star team. They need everything. They need everything. They're going to take offensive lineman Gray Zabel from North Dakota State at pick 11.
Really?
Go ahead,
man.
Go ahead and wreck the draft for the rest of us.
You wrecked it.
Way to go, Paul. Jeez.
A lot of people want to see him drop to Minnesota. I don't think that's going to happen. Sauce is right that this is about the right landing spot for him, and maybe even earlier than this for Gray Zabel. You get the position, versatility that people love. Tackle, guard. A lot of people think he's going to play center. Nasty finisher. He is a remarkable athlete with lateral movement. He's got tons of agility. Great in his own blocking scheme. The knocks on Gray Zabel, short arms, and he's not necessarily an anchor type player, but nevertheless, the positives and the versatility will make him very attractive, and it does make sense for him to go to San Francisco.
Not trying to piss off our friends, Benjamin, in North Dakota, but does the fact that he went to North Dakota State scare you at all to draft a lineman from North Dakota State this highly?
Not at all. Not at all.
Not at all.
No. They're producing NFL talent, NFL ready talent, and what he did at the Senior Bowl completely catapulted his status into the first round. I think this is a little high. I love Gray. I think that I'm hoping that he's there at 24. I'm just surprised that under this pick, a guy like Josh Simmons, who's available from Ohio State, and also Kelvin Banks Jr., also a lineman that has versatility, because Trent Williams is not getting any younger. They could use a guy that has position flexibility to take over for, I think Aaron Brooks was the left guard. They could play in that left guard spot and slide out to tackle after Williams is gone. I think both of those guys I mentioned could do that. So I'm a little surprised that Sauce went with Zabel at this pick.
You blew it, Sauce.
Listen, Zabel's talented. I do think that there are a lot of people out there that would look at his North Dakota State pedigree and be like, over an Ohio State guy? I'll take the Ohio State guy.
Right.
Hey, Ben?
Yeah.
6'6", 312, man.
That's a huge bitch.
That is a big center.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he could. Well, that's the thing. He could play, at that height and that weight, and you're going to guess that he's going to put on a few more pounds. He could stay right there and play center, or he could add a few more pounds and play guard, and he's athletic enough to play tackle as well.
Yeah,
so
like that kid.
The Cowboys, number 12, Paul Charchian.
Gray Zabel would have potentially been a choice for us, but I am the undead corpse of Jerry Jones. Thankfully, I own my own team. I'd have been fired from 31 other teams were that not the case. You may remember me from such trades as Jonathan Mingo for a 4th rounder last October. That means I paid 1 full round for every catch Jonathan Mingo had for Dallas last year.
My gosh.
I've got a lot of team needs. I got to rebuild the offensive line. We're desperate at running back. I need receiver help. I need cornerback help. I drafted an offensive lineman in the 1st round last year, so I'm not going to go back-to-back linemen, although there are guys that project right into this area. Instead, we are going to take Texas wide receiver Matthew Golden. CeeDee Lamb is fantastic, but the only thing he does not bring to the table is speed and big downfield plays. Golden gives you 4.29 speed. He will open up the middle of the field for CeeDee Lamb and create deep shots of his own. Matthew Golden, he will be our selection as we try to diversify our offense.
Man, Jerry loves speed, that's for sure.
Yep. Curious why him over Ted McMillan.
Because Ted McMillan is stylistically so much like CeeDee Lamb. Big body guys with a giant catch radius. We want to diversify the offense and add speed to the position. Otherwise, I would have gone Ted McMillan.
Yeah, I like it.
That's a good pick.
It's good.
Mm-hmm.
All right, pick 13, the Dolphins and Lieber.
Listen, Miami did a great job this free agency by really trying to address some of the needs defensively, especially in the secondary. But as we all know, that Jalen Ramsey's he's not going to be on the team. He's going to be off the team whether Miami wants it or not. They have question marks at tackle as well, but I'm leaning cornerback in this situation, and I'm going to go Jahdae Barron, the corner over at Texas, over Will Johnson, who a lot of people love out of Michigan. But I just like Barron's ability to play all the different secondary positions. He can play primarily at right corner. He can also play a nickel and has played safety as well. And this guy actually wants to cover and hit. He's not afraid to hit people in the run game as well. So I like his overall game. So I'm going to take Barron out of Texas.
You also get an extraordinarily high IQ and character guy who's beloved inside the locker room by coaches and teammates, and just a natural, fluid athlete. And as you mentioned, Jahdae Barron, highly versatile. Play him outside, inside. You can back him up into more of a safety role. It's he will help a team that needs exactly that for Miami.
Make up.
All right, we're almost we're over, I guess, halfway to the Vikings.
Moving,
but let's go to pick 14. Back on the mic is Maxo with the Indianapolis Colts.
Hey, guys.
All right.
There hasn't been this much of a need for tight ends in Indiana since Chris Hockey resided in the Hoosier State. I mean, the Colts have a lot of needs. If you look at their list of needs, it looks like a 4-year-old learning the alphabet. And if you ask Anthony Richardson about his needs, he might say a nap. But that's neither here nor there. Whether it be Richardson or Daniel Jones, you're going to have a quarterback throwing a lot of Donald Ducks. So you're going to need a guy that makes defenders feel goofy and has a catch radius as big as the House of Mouse itself. So I have the Colts taking a trip down to Loveland and taking tight end Colston Loveland out of Michigan.
Sorry, Zach.
Yeah, sorry, Zach.
Zach really, really, really wants him to be drafted by the Vikings. And I mean...
Yep.
Really drafted by the Vikings.
There are two tight ends that grade out in the first round. He's the second of the two, with the first one already being taken, Tyler Warren. Loveland he's got the big frame. He's tall. He's heavy. He can be a blocker. He's just a battler for the ball in the air and after the catch. Reminds me of Mark Andrews. Highly fluid. It's a great opportunity for a team that desperately needs help. No team needs tight end other than maybe Denver. No team needs tight end more than the Colts do. So, Colston Loveland makes a ton of sense.
What kind of a frame here? Like, what's this guy look like with his shirt off? Asking for a friend.
Well, I was applying some
he's
natural
tight.
oils.
He's tight
Recently, when
during the Senior Bowl, did he at any point play beach volleyball? No?
Known beach ball.
Okay, let's move on. Yeah. Max on the mic again. The Atlanta Falcons in pick 15. Pick 15.
Yes, sir. You would have thought you were watching Game of Thrones or an episode of Jerry Springer the way Cousins got bleeped in Atlanta last season. They thought they had a new shiny toy in Michael Penix Jr., but it may have been a toy from Temu. B.I. Mo or something like that. But that remains to be seen. The Falcons have some AK-47-like weapons on offense, but for some reason still go to battle with bayonets. So they don't need or deserve any more skill position players offensively. I think they go with the rush, and I'm not talking about Geddy Lee and the boys. Atlanta has the fewest sacks in the league over the last 5 years, over the last 10 years, and over the last 20 years. The Dirty Birds go green and select Mike Green, edge rusher out of Marshall.
Nice.
This is the right pick. This is the pick I've had on Atlanta for most of this pre-draft process. He's athletic. He's violent. He's got light feet. He can move laterally. Plays heavier than the size. The frame is smaller, but he plays bigger. Just highly productive. And I guess if you're playing at Marshall, that makes a certain amount of sense that you would be. Only a 1-season starter for Mike Green. That part is a little bit of a worry. And twice accused of sexual assault. We don't love that. Oof. But playing talent-wise, Mike Green makes a ton of sense in this selection.
Anybody else?
No.
Yeah, that'll put a damper on the conversation, won't it?
Yep.
Remind me, don't throw that out at US Bank Stadium tonight.
Yeah.
Just in case.
Yeah, but that's part of the narrative, though.
100% has to be part of it.
I mean,
100%.
he had a sexual assault in high school, and he had a sexual assault when he was at his first stop in college. And he claims, he's like, well, I transferred not because of that. I'm like, I don't know, man.
What, to get away from it?
Yeah. Just bad energy there. But Either way, that's haunting him a little bit.
Good luck, Atlanta. Yeah. We'll pick 16th when we come back. Ben Lieber will pick for the Cardinals. We'll go all the way to 24. We'll have PA make the selection for the Vikings. We'll go round table the rest of the way. This is the Power Trip Mock Draft on the Fan.
Oikos presents 15 Seconds of Strength.
Here we go. Steve's got a trunk full of groceries and no one to help him.
Oh, that's tough, Jim. Looks like a 5-trip load at least.
He grabs the first bag, the second. Bob, it looks like he's trying to do it all in one trip. He shimmies the door open, steps over the dog. Oh, and he stumbles.
Oh, right into the kitchen without missing a beat. Jim, now that's a man who eats his protein-packed Oikos.
With 15 grams of complete protein in each cup, Oikos Triple Zero can help build strength for every day. Oikos, stronger makes everything better.
Oh, tasty high note. Oh, hi, don't mind me. I'm practicing my new baritone sax. I just heard PayPal's paying for people's stuff every day for 100 days, and there's $10 million up for grabs. All you have to do is use PayPal checkout online. So there's never been a better time to buy a few things off the old wish list. Like this leaf blower! PayPal could pay for your purchase. The Great PayPal Checkout.
No purchase necessary ends July 18th. See official rules at paypal.com/thegreatpaypalcheckout/terms. Participating merchants only must use PayPal checkout online. Coverage of up to $100 and eligible purchases per card.
Hey, everybody. So when you get asked, what is Odoo, what comes to mind? Well, I'll tell you, Odoo is a bit of everything. Odoo is a suite of business management software that some people say is like fertilizer because of the way it promotes growth. But, some people also say that Odoo is like a magic beanstalk because it grows with your company and is also magically affordable.
Ooh. But then again, you could look at Odoo in terms of how its individual software programs are a lot like building blocks. Whatever your business needs, manufacturing, accounting, HR programs, you can build a custom software suite that's perfect for your company. So what is Odoo? Well, Odoo is a bit of everything. Odoo is a fertilizer, magic beanstalk, building blocks for business. Yeah, that's it.
Which means that Odoo is exactly what every business needs. Learn more and sign up now at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
Come on. Why is this taking so long? This thing is ancient.
Still using yesterday's tech? Upgrade to the ThinkPad X1 Carbon. Ultra-light, ultra-powerful, and built for serious productivity. With Intel Core Ultra processors, blazing speed, and AI-powered performance, it keeps up with your business, not the other way around.
Whoa, this thing moves.
Stop hitting snooze on new tech. Win the tech search at Lenovo.com. Lenovo. Unlock AI experiences with the ThinkPad X1 Carbon, powered by Intel Core Ultra processors, so you can work, create, and boost productivity all on one device.
KFAN brings you the NFL Draft live. Join us for in-depth analysis, exclusive interviews, and real-time updates on the picks. Don't miss out. NFL Draft coverage on KFAN is brought to you by Heating and Cooling 2. Go to heatcool2.com to book your service today.
All right, Power Trip Mock Draft. We've done this for almost 70 consecutive years. What year are we on, Zach?
69.
Second year, 69.
All right, we're up to pick 16, and Ben's got to get out of here at 8:40, so we're going to hustle and get through his pick at least at 21. But, Ben, you're on the board at pick 16 with the Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah, I'm not going to elaborate too much on what Jonathan Gannon may do. I'm just going to say that he needs help at cornerback. They don't have a real stud at corner right now, and they still have some guys on the board right now, but his influence from Philadelphia, I think, is going to weigh heavy on this selection, and this is one of my favorite players in the first round. I'm taking Ole Miss defensive lineman Walter Nolan with pick number 16.
Great pick.
Walter Nolan.
Great pick.
It is a good pick. Walter Nolan, this is a little bit of a controversial pick. You can see him go as high as about here, but also you'll see Nolan go quite a bit lower as well, and even out of the first round for some people. This kid he lives in the opposing team's backfield. He's all about tackles for loss, the burst, being disruptive to the offensive line. The only real knock on Walter Nolan is he didn't do much until last year, and it all came together last year. You'll have to decide if that is a factor for you or not, but apparently the Cardinals believe Walter Nolan's 2024 is going to be indicative of what they're going to see in the future, and they do need help there.
Pick 17 is the Bengals, and Charge, that's you.
Right. I am
Church.
Yeah,
I am
Paul.
Duke Tobin. The team's director of player personnel.
Great name.
And former Orlando Predator and Memphis Pharaoh.
Thought the former Orlando Predator was Mike Green.
All right.
Oh.
Brilliant, Corey.
Wow.
Thanks, Paul. That was really nice of you.
That was good.
I think you're doing a great job, by the way, too. And even though you spelled Niners, the number 9 and then ERS.
You can kiss a hot dog.
I am Duke Tobin, and I definitely did not get my job due to my family connections to Bill Tobin and Vince Tobin. It's just a remarkable coincidence that I was the perfect person to run the Bengals.
Brilliant.
And I just happen to have a father who was a longtime NFL executive and an uncle who was a coach. Total coincidence. I just poured $276 million into contracts for T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. And meanwhile, the Bengals pass rush is garbage, ranking 26th in pass rush by Pro Football Focus, 26th in sacks allowed. And our only good defensive end, Trey Hendrickson, wants to leave the team. It's not a good sign. So in a draft that is deep in defensive linemen, we are going to take the best available of the defensive linemen, and that is Derek Harmon from Oregon. Ooh. He's good against the pass and the run, laterally explosive, fast. He's durable. He's athletic. Not a great tackler, and sometimes he lets his weight get way over, I think it weighed in at one point 360 pounds. So we're going to have to watch that. But Derek Harmon will be our selection for the Bengals.
Great pick.
Sauce, Seattle, and the Seahawks at pick 18.
This is an easy pick. The way this has fallen, we're going to run to the draft podium, and we're going to take Texas tackle Kelvin Banks. We can move him to guard, or we can play him at right tackle. They've taken Charles Cross in the top 10 a couple of years ago. If he isn't good enough, they can play him there. They need offensive line help. They're going to take Kelvin Banks from Texas.
Hey, Sauce, what happens to Sam Darnold when he's under extreme pressure?
He throws the ball up. I don't know. What's the...
Yes, he does throw the ball up.
Yeah.
We saw it at the end of last year.
Point. Yeah.
Seattle's offensive line was
hideous.
Honestly awful. Need at guard, center, and tackle. Banks is the best available tackle in this draft. That is a totally logical pick.
Thank you, Georgie.
Pick 19, Tampa Bay, and Greg Swedberg.
Thanks, Paul, knock it off. But without a lot of fanfare, they need a cornerback, Will Johnson.
There you go.
There you go.
Will Johnson.
Okay.
Universally believed to be the best remaining cornerback in this draft, and what he's known for are the ball skills. He is a tremendous ball tracker, gets the balls into his hands, anticipates. He's got really, really good footwork. There's very little not to like about Will Johnson, and he makes a ton of sense for a team that has need at that spot.
There you go.
All right, pick 20. Here comes Eric Nordquist from 9 to noon to pick for the Denver Broncos, number 20. Hi, Nordo.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Hi, buddy.
The Broncos, they need a lot. Skill players. I'm looking at that specifically after a good rookie campaign for Bo Nix. A little bit of defense to nip and tuck, but you see the disparities between the two units. For Sean Payton, whose pursed lips look like an anus.
What about his eyes?
You can't deny it.
His whole face looks like that.
Javonte Williams is gone. That's really not much of a loss because he wasn't very productive. They are going to go with a running back at pick 20. They're going to go with Omarion Hampton to pair him, skill on skill, and produce some stuff out of the backfield for a team that sorely needs it. The North Carolina running back goes pick 20.
There you go.
Omarion Hampton. This is, I think, the most commonly placed person to team in the second half of the draft is right here. Denver and Omarion Hampton, a north-south runner with tremendous balance, a thick lower body, a tackle breaker, does everything really, really well, can catch, except doesn't have like long, deep speed. But other than that, a very safe play here. There's late steam that Travion Henderson, the Ohio State running back, could go into this spot, but Hampton seems to be the safe selection right here.
Benjamin, you're picking for the Pittsburgh Steelers. They have said multiple times that Aaron Rodgers will not affect their draft plans. They're not going to pick specifically based on what they think he may or may not do. What do you do at pick 21?
Listen, Pittsburgh does not have a second-round pick. They could address quarterback in the third round, or they could use some of their picks to get back into the second round, but I think that they have so many different holes. They're going to want to keep as many draft picks as they can for a draft that they say is a ton of starters, very deep with the starters, maybe not top enders. This is going to be controversial, but I think this quarterback is the second best quarterback and maybe have the best total career of all the quarterbacks available. I'm going to take Jackson Dart from Ole Miss.
I like it. I think there's a very real scenario where Shedeur Sanders does not get drafted in the first round, and this would be very part of how that would happen. You're getting somebody who projects to Jalen Hurts, and there's something to that. You get the mobility, you get the thick lower body, you get the fierce running style, good arm strength, willing to throw deep, not a cannon. He ran a lot of simple reads in Lane Kiffin's shotgun offense, but the belief is just that he's gotten so much better over time that you can expand what he's asked to do. And Jackson Dart has the physical tools to be the best quarterback in this draft.
Great pick.
All right, we go commercial free the rest of the way. And look, Ben, you have to leave in 4 minutes. So even though we still have 2 more picks before we get to the Vikings, I want your quick opinion before we let you go because you have to sneak out in like 3.5 minutes. So your take on tonight for pick 24 in the Minnesota Vikings.
If it goes like this, it sets up beautifully. I mean, I know that sets up beautifully probably for a trade down. You have to have a trade partner. But there are offensive linemen to be taken right now the way this draft is planning it out. Same with defensive tackle and also corner and possibly safety. So as we are right now, we got 2 more picks to go for this mock draft, but it's looking really good for the Vikes.
So again, earlier today didn't you say O-line 1, D-line 2, corner 3, safety 4? That's your likelihood position draft. And you just best player available at those positions.
Yes.
And just 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yep. Don't overthink it.
All right, dude. 3 to 4:30 Twin Cities Live, and then you got draft coverage tonight?
Yeah, 3 to 4:30, and then we'll be live on KFAN, and then we'll switch over. So live starting at 7 o'clock, and then we'll switch over around 8 when the live game starts.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, I got 5 minutes. Don't push me out here.
I'm just gone. Formal goodbye. Let's go through it. Chargers 22. Sinekin.
Boom! Wow, if the draft board falls like this, there is a heated debate going on in our war room because everybody knows Justin Herbert could use more weapons. We hit on Ladd McConkey in the second round. Look at here, Ted McMillan sitting here right there for us. So half our room is banging the table for him. But Jim Harbaugh has gotten up on the table and said, we lost Joey Bosa. We lost Poona Ford. We need help on the D-line. And I brought Kenneth Grant to Michigan, and he was a man among boys. And we put him in the middle of our defensive line. We'll deal with wide receiver on Friday. Give me my guy, Kenneth Grant, D-line, Michigan.
How did you pick him just so you can make a specific pick for pick 20?
Right.
All right. Before we get to the Packers, charge Kenneth Grant, pick 22.
It does make sense. This is about as early as you see him going, but you can definitely make a case for him to go here. Unique athlete, a lot of balance and lateral range. He's got a powerful punch, and he bats a ton of balls down. We got to watch his weight. Is a guy who creeps into the 350 range. He does have some slow reactions, but yeah, you can see the pairing, and we know Jim Harbaugh loves his guys, so we could see him find his way back to his old college coach.
Yep, Sauce in the future. A reminder: don't ever let Cinny pick before Cinny picks. Right. The Packers at pick 23. Dave Sinekin.
All right. Well, there are 3 positions Green Bay is going to look at in the first round. It's D-line, whether it's interior or edge. It's cornerback, and it's wide receiver. They haven't drafted a wide receiver in the first round since Javon Walker in 2002. They haven't drafted a cornerback before the 7th round, the last 3 drafts. And there's a need there because Jair is not going to be a member of this team. If you want to read my 7-round Packer mock draft, by the way, at zonecoverage.com, the 2 guys I'm really debating between are already gone. And I took Emeka Egbuka from Ohio State. But I had a 6-man crush list for the Packers. 2 of those guys are still available. Shamar Stewart, the raw, toolsy edge rusher, and Ted McMillan. And I'm of the opinion if McMillan's sitting there at 17, 18, 19, Green Bay's going to try to go up and get him. The way this board has fallen, he's sitting there right falling into our lap. Jordan Love's in his 3rd year as a starter. That's the year Aaron Rodgers won a Super Bowl. Rodgers had Greg Jennings, Jordy Nelson, James Jones, Donald Driver. Jordan Love has cue the crickets sound effect. It's time to get a number one receiver in Green Bay. Ted McMillan has fallen into our lap. Give me the big-bodied Mike Evans 2.0 wide receiver and give Jordan Love his number one guy. Ted McMillan's our pick.
He's got the best ball skills in this class, the huge catch radius, the big size, the contested catches. Mike Evans is not a bad comp. I think T. Higgins is another good comp. The only thing he doesn't have is great speed. That's it. I mean, everything else works. And Ted McMillan comes in as probably Green Bay's best receiver week 1 to open the season.
That brings us to pick 24. The Minnesota Vikings will select 24th tonight unless they move up or down. But 24, that brings us to Paul Allen.
Good morning. Great job with the mock. Wonderful time of the year. Love the mock every year. Gray Zabel at 11, you say? Okay.
Uh-oh. Where'd he go?
You don't like that pick?
Well, I think he's going to go ahead of 24, but I don't know if it's going to be 11. That's all right, though, Saucy. He sees it clearly. Want me to pick?
Sure.
24th overall pick. Minnesota Vikings select Alabama guard Tyler Booker.
Fine.
And he will compete for the starting left guard position. I think Gray Zabel absolutely is an option. If both of those guys are not available, then I firmly believe it'll be a defensive back. Tyler Booker, 6'5", 320-ish. Puppy. 34.5-inch arms. That's a quarter of an inch longer than Christian Darrisaw, who's considered to have long arms. And young Tyler attended high school with J.J. McCarthy at IMG Academy, and they happen to be quite close. So just keep that in mind. Tyler Booker, Alabama, Vikings, 24, power trip mock, and what you will hear on the microphone this evening, if indeed he is available.
Do you see a lot of scenarios where they look to trade back because they have so little draft capital in 2025?
Actually, I don't. I think they're very happy with their spot. Now, they're going to play the game, I would imagine, if, Houston right behind them, and then whomever's behind Houston. We have the Rams. That could be a quarterback, then the Ravens, stuff like that. So they're going to have to be completely squared away with who they think those teams are going to take. But I think Tyler Booker from Alabama would be a fine fit here. I think Gray Zabel, the guard from North Dakota State University, would be a fine fit here. And if they like Gray more than Booker, I envision this as kind of being like the draft when Garrett Bradbury was taken at center, where I believe they absolutely wanted Chris Lindstrom from Boston College. Mm-hmm. And then he went like 5 or 6 picks ahead, something like that. So then they took Bradbury. So if Zabel is the preference and he gets drafted before 24, which I wouldn't be surprised if he did, Booker could be their top preference as an offensive lineman. And, when they spent the most money this offseason on defense. So they really, really poured a lot of assets into defense. They did offensively too, but more so on the defensive side. I think this completes what O'Connell wants for J.J. McCarthy, and that's to solidify the Minnesota Moving Company with Tyler Booker.
I love it. I mean,
okay,
I'm
so
excited.
Under that premise that that at this point they have 2 or 3 really good offensive linemen sitting there at 24.
Mm-hmm.
And I agree with you. Of the 3, I like Booker the best, but there's 2 other guys you could take there too.
Yeah.
And there's, like Sauce has pointed out a couple times, there's a couple offensive line needy teams sitting behind them.
Right.
But that's not the only need. And like I talked to you when we first came in, the question is, how much do they really like Blake Brandel?
Right.
Do they really like him? Do they think he's competent, or do they think that his shortcomings were caused by the backup tackle, Cam Robinson?
Yep.
And then
Bradbury.
And Bradbury, the fact that he was kind of left on an island. So do they really like Brandel? Because if they really like Brandel, then you could easily trade back and then go get a really good defensive tackle. You could get a safety. I don't think they want one. I don't think they want a corner because I think they're going to get one. But they don't have enough picks. And if you're not drafting for a starter, why not try at least to call Stefanski up and say, hey, you don't have a quarterback. Why don't you trade us that first pick in the second round and maybe give us your third round or work it out so they can get more picks out of the deal?
Yeah, if they draft an offensive lineman at 24, then I make him prohibitively favored to start.
Yeah.
So of course they like Brandell. He's been on the team, all the way back to when Zimmer was coaching. Now Blake he's been the extra offensive lineman in unbalanced sets occasionally, extra offensive lineman. Blake started out quite well, and then things got a little dicey late. I don't exactly know why they did. Maybe it's what you said. He led the team in penalties. I think maybe off what they saw last year, with Brandell, they recognized that yes, he can start, and yes, he can start multiple positions, but maybe as a high-end backup to what would be considered a blue chip offensive lineman. I mean, whomever you take here at 24 as an offensive lineman is going to be favored to start. But the more I learn about Booker and what he does well and his leadership skills, he was a captain at Alabama. You go back to him and McCarthy knowing each other for quite some time. I do think that matters. And like a lot of fans see at times, you'll see offensive linemen get pushed back when they're trying to move forward. With Fries and Kelly, they feel they fixed that. So this just absolutely seems to be the final piece to that puzzle to solidify the offense and give JJ his best chance.
Well, he's a really good pass blocker, and I think the one thing that the Vikings are going to want to do is keep McCarthy clean, make sure that he has plenty of time because he's going to need it. Mm-hmm. He's still essentially a rookie. He's going to need a little more time. So I think, to me, the pick makes tremendous sense. But I think they have options. I think Donovan Jackson's pretty good too.
Agreed. Yeah. I think if it's not Booker and Zabel's available, then that's the way I think they would go. If neither one of those are available, then I would expect them to draft a defensive back. It could be a corner, but most likely would be a hybrid safety. Charch's guy, Eman Nori, is somebody who maybe they're enthralled in. The Georgia safety could be interesting. But if they take an offensive lineman at 24, the guy starts.
I love the pick, and I think, as PA said, if Booker's on the board, you can't move back because he'll be gone. The Texans will take him right behind you. Kansas City would move up for him. You could Philly, they might move up for him, even though they love defensive tackles and all that. They lost Milton Williams, but if Booker's there, you just take him. Yeah. You move back, he's gone. He'll be gone the next pick. He's a monster of a human. He'd be a great pick. He'd keep McCarthy upright. That's a home run pick if Tyler Booker is the pick at 24.
That would be interesting if at 25 the Houston Texans select a guard, Tyler Booker or Gray Zabel, maybe the Ohio State guard, and he comes into rookie camp, then mini camp, and beats former Viking Ed Ingram out of a starting guard job.
Brilliant, yeah.
That'd be a vicious twist.
For the room, not that it matters because the Vikings pick matters the most, but we've gone through 24 picks and Shedeur Sanders has not been selected. Is anybody here confident that he will not go in round one?
Wow, that's
Charging. I think the only way he goes in round one is if a team trades up for him, like the Giants or the Browns, move up for him into the bottom of round one. That's the most probable way he goes in the first round. Otherwise, I don't think he does.
I think one of the problems that he has is some of these teams picking high are in this position because they're not very good. And if you bring in Sanders, you have to worry that his father will follow him if that head coach gets fired. And I think that weighs on a lot of people. I think he's good, he's not great. And I think you have to, if you have a guy that, is the number one cornerback from Mel Kiper, but you have a guy that isn't going to go until the 20s, you can't take him that high.
What I think is interesting is Jalen Milrose accepted an invitation to the draft. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden, he's getting this steam that he's Lamar Jackson 2.0. What do you guys think the chances are that Milroe goes ahead of Shedeur Sanders tonight or tomorrow night?
I happen to think there's a lot of smoke around Sanders, that people are downplaying him on purpose, that we'll never take him. And I think somebody will. I think that there's a really good chance someone will take him because I think the worry about Deion coming in and coaching your team, he's not even a really good coach in college.
Well, if you're the Giants, you worry about that.
Why would anyone want that?
Right. He's more of a CEO.
He's not much of a coach at all.
See, a key with Sanders here is his offensive coordinator, Pat Shurmur. knows everybody in the league, and he's very tight with Kevin Stefanski. He's very tight with Drew Petzing, the offensive coordinator for Arizona. So all those teams have talked to Pat about Shedeur. I know Pat thinks Shedeur super tough. He thinks Shedeur is very smart. When it comes to quick fire, quick twitch decision making, that may not be Shedeur Sanders' forte. Just making the quick fire decision. It just, the processing just may need a little bit of work. And I think that first and foremost, if he slides, that's what's going to play into it. They just don't, people might not think he sees it clearly and quickly.
Wow.
And if he slides, the only logical team that isn't going to trade up is the Steelers at 21, right? Other teams can trade up, right? But if the Steelers pass on him, Charch is right. He'll be a second-day pick.
All right. PA, thanks, man.
Yeah,
what do you got, 9 to noon?
Draft, one Wild-related segment. The heir apparent, Anthony LaPanta, joins at 9:40. Big game 3 this evening. Bossburg in attendance. Then we start with Charch into Courtney Cronin. After that, Anthony LaPanta, Nacho Lieber, Dan Miller, the Vox for the Lions, joins at 11.
So you got nothing?
And Alec Lewis will be in studio about 11:15 with this nice new wall.
Yeah, what do you want to do? Stand-up comedy back here? What do you want to do?
Pretty cool. Yeah, I spilled spot remover on my dog. Now he's gone. Yeah, that's my act.
Yeah, love it.
Genius. Bye.
The Power Trip Mock Draft presented by our friends at Heating and Cooling 2. Thanks, Heating and Cooling 2.
Man, I love it.
Yeah, thank you. That was great.
Fun, man.
Yeah, that was super fun.
I don't know, Charge.
Highlight of the year. I mean, this is going to be a super unpredictable draft, but I feel like nobody made an eye-rolling pick. Nobody was made some selection that is just indefensible.
PA did not care for Gray Zabel going to the Niners at pick 11.
Yeah, but I think if Gray Zabel doesn't go 11, he's in play at pick 12 for the Cowboys too.
I got him going 10 to Chicago.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So I think Gray Zabel will not be there for the Vikings, and perhaps not by several picks.
Maybe not great for talk radio, but we were saying this off air earlier. With this specific group of quarterbacks, if the Vikings needed one at 24, it would be super interesting because it'd be like, we would have no idea who's even going to be on the board outside of Cam Ward, right? You could argue all of the other ones potentially, including Jackson Dart, would potentially be available if the Vikings needed one, but we don't need one.
You're probably not drafting a quarterback if you're drafting at 24.
Right. Yeah. Well, let me ask you real quick, too, because we only got 2 minutes here, but for the entire room, do we know the fates of Aaron Rodgers and or Kirk Cousins tonight at all, at any point?
No. I think the other, that's why Cleveland may be passing on him because they could bring him in, but that would be something next week. And I mean, Rodgers maybe, because Rodgers, like me, likes to make everything about him. What? He could pick a team that he could make himself known today.
I think Cousins gets traded Saturday.
Oh, okay.
A day 3 pick, right? He's going to garner a 5th round pick, something like that. And so I think Cousins has a different home next week.
Okay, good.
This weekend.
There you go. Fun stuff, man. I love it. All right, and any thoughts on Vikings backup quarterback situation then? Anything happened there?
Well, maybe it's Kirk Cousins.
Ugh. I mean,
I can't imagine, man.
Is the Tannehill's team just dead, or is it just quiet?
That's just desperation is all that is.
Who's the guy charged? Is he the Seahawks' third quarterback? What's that guy?
Jim Howell.
Played for Washington.
Sam Howell.
Jim Plunkett.
Sam Howell or Jim Plunkett. Yeah, either one. Yeah.
Plunkett's got some good years left in him.
Yeah.
I don't know if he does.
Is he still alive?
He does pest control now.
Oh, good for him.
Well done. Yeah, I love it. Well, there you go. Nice job, guys.
That was a sponsored joke.
It was. I appreciate it.
That was good.
Yeah, it worked out really well. Greg, thank you. Cindy, thank you.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Appreciate Charch as always. You're the man. Thank you very much. Your expertise is well needed on this stupid show.
And mostly wrong.
Yeah, no.
It's pretty rare.
No,
yeah, it doesn't happen a lot on this show.
Yeah. I wonder what PA really thinks is going to happen tonight.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think what he said.
You
I
think
think
so,
the Booker
really?
scheme is real.
You think so? Okay.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
There you go.
If not, you can read between the lines for the next 3 hours, 9 to noon.
Correct.
What are we at? Is it $89,500 tomorrow for the jackpot? $89,500 tomorrow with initials at 8:15. Thanks to St. Paul Federal Credit Union. So that's going to be gigantic. One of you gets a crack at that tomorrow. The Power Trip returns 5:30 to 9 tomorrow, 9 to noon, and almost nonstop draft coverage is next. This has been the Power Trip Morning Show.
Are you still quoting 30-year-old movies? Have you said cool beans in the past 90 days? Do you think Discover isn't widely accepted? If this sounds like you, you're stuck in the past. Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. And every time you make a purchase with your card, you automatically earn cash back. Welcome to the now. It pays to Discover. Learn more at discover.com/creditcard. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
Come on, why is this taking so long? This thing is ancient.
Still using yesterday's tech? Upgrade to the ThinkPad X1 Carbon. Ultra-light, ultra-powerful, and built for serious productivity with Intel Core Ultra processors, blazing speed, and AI-powered performance that keeps up with your business, not the other way around.
Whoa, this thing moves.
Stop hitting snooze on new tech. Win the tech search at Lenovo.com. Lenovo. Unlock AI experiences with the ThinkPad X1 Carbon, powered by Intel Core Ultra processors, so you can work, create, and boost productivity all on one device.
Hello, iHeart listener. We have a confession to make. Both iHeart and this commercial you're listening to right now would probably sound a heck of a lot better on the new Roku Pro Series TV. It's got side-firing speakers that fill your room with sound, Dolby Atmos audio that puts you right in the middle of the entertainment, and the ability to pair seamlessly with your home theater sound systems that already have surround sound and booming bass. If all that sounds too good to be true, it'll sound even better on the new Roku Pro Series. Your hearing isn't better, your TV is.
Hey, Janice Torres here.
And I'm Austin Hankwitz.
We're the hosts of Mind the Business Small Business Success Stories, produced by Ruby Studio and Intuit QuickBooks. Catch up on seasons 1 and 2 and join us for a brand new season of the podcast as we talk to small business owners about how they manage and grow their businesses with the help of platforms like Intuit QuickBooks.
Listen to Mind the Business Small Business Success Stories on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.